Hello, everyone. This is Sam Ridgway, and we are here with another version or episode of Tales from the Crypto with a resident guru, Cameron Sykes. Cameron, how are you?
I'm doing great, Sammy. How are you doing today?
Doing great. Thank you. Thanks for asking. And today, I think we're going to talk about some news in the headlines, crypto market in general. And then I think you're going to go over and talk a little bit about Doge and
Okay.
how, I remember where it came from, where it could go, all the other factors. I'm not going to take away from your presentation. So why don't you just go ahead and jump right into it?
Alrighty, I'll get started off with a fun little disclaimer here. So, this is a show intended to entertain and educate our viewers. This is not investment advice and should never be used as a primary basis of investment decisions, nor should be construed as a solicitation or advice designed to meet the particular investment needs of any specific investor. Please do your own research and come to your own conclusions. No information should be interpreted, stated, or implied that past results or any indication of future performance. Alrighty, so the first headline we have here is Apecoin migration draws interest from avalanche and flow. So the Bored Ape Yacht Club linked to Apecoin DAO is in talks with Layer 1 suitors as the project considers a post-Ethereum future. Two of the potential suitors are Avalanche and Flow, according to executives at the firm behind both networks. In the case of Avalanche, Yuga's ecosystem could be able to exist on its own subnet, which is a technology that allows transactions of a single application to be isolated without clogging the network. And for Flow, it offers similar value proposition, having proven its capability of handling high transaction volumes with NBA Top Shot. So yeah, and that's basically coming because after they did the other side deeds, I mean, people paid a ridiculous amount of Ethereum gas fees. And so they're looking to move to platforms so they don't have to deal with that again. Alrighty, so the next one, Bitcoin investment giant Grayscale debuts ETF in Europe. So Grayscale officially announced its first European ETF called Grayscale Future of Finance. And the new investment product is getting listings on major European stock exchanges, including the London Stock Exchange, the Doge, I can't even fucking pronounce that. And then it's going to be listed under the ticker symbol GFOF, and the ETF will also be passport for sale across Europe. Jack Dorsey, the former head of Twitter and now the head of Block, hits 1.3 billion in Q1 profits and 43 million in Bitcoin trading revenue. So Block, the pro-Bitcoin umbrella company that hosts Cash App, Square, and Afterpay, continues its growth in 2022. According to its shareholder letter, in the first quarter of 2022, profits are up 34% year over year. And in total, the group netted 1.3 billion in gross profits. The next one here is there's been 3 billion flows to metaverse and Web3 gaming this month as Andreessen Horowitz tips in 600 million. So venture capital firm Andreessen Horowitz has launched a $600 million fund dedicated to gaming startups with a focus on Web3. Game Fund 1 will invest in 3 main areas, which are game studios, consumer applications, which support player communities, with Discord used as an example, and gaming infrastructure providers. This move by Andreessen Horowitz marks nearly $3 billion committed by venture funds and gaming industry giants into Web3 gaming or metaverse projects since mid-April. And so that is definitely ridiculous and definitely a sign of things are moving in the right direction, which we definitely need some good news like that. And last headline here, people want to be paid crypto to exercise in the metaverse. So a new survey conducted by fitness website FitRated asked 1,001 Americans for their thoughts on blockchain-related fitness technology. And the survey found over 80% of people would be motivated to take up more physical exercise if they were paid in cryptocurrency for their efforts. I'm definitely one of them. And so the survey found that a staggering 40% of people surveyed would be willing to cancel the current gym membership for one in the metaverse. 63% of the respondents stated that their fitness motivation was a primary benefit of blockchain technology. And 49% of the respondents said that walking would be the activity of choice. And this was closely followed by cycling and swimming, which came in third. So essentially, people just want to be paid in cryptocurrency to walk around and do whatever the hell they would be doing otherwise. You know, and I kind of share the same sentiment. I wouldn't mind that either.
And work out. Yeah. I do it for free right now. In fact, I've actually paid to work out since I've continuously improved my home gym. So that would be great to get some kickback. How would you swim in the metaverse?
Fuck, I don't know. I mean, you probably have to have some type of waterproof Fitbit type thing that's connected to the metaverse. And so, but you definitely would need a normal, actual physical pool, I would guess. And unless you just want to look ridiculous, just trying to swim around the carpet somewhere.
On your living room floor.
Yeah.
Right.
Wondering what the fuck's wrong with it. So, but yeah, so now I wanted to get a little bit into Doge because, Elon Musk, a guy I'm sure you've heard of, says he thinks it's going to be the future currency of the internet. So I just wanted to explore that a little bit and using the analogy of a timeless Disney classic, Pinocchio. So the tale of Pinocchio is a fictional story about one puppet's journey to become a real boy. The key word here is fiction, because we all know and hope a puppet can never transform into an actual living, breathing person. But can a seemingly worthless meme coin that started as an actual joke ever become real money? In the case of DogeCoin, the answer is maybe. So in this scenario, the creator of Doge, Jackson Palmer, will play the role of Pinocchio's creator, Geppetto. Meanwhile, the blue fairy who brings Pinocchio to life will be played by Elon Musk. And this is important to remember because even though Pinocchio is the brainchild of Geppetto, he was brought to life because of the blue fairy's magical powers. And if it wasn't for the blue fairy's intervention, Pinocchio would have only been a wooden object in the same way Elon Musk would have, Doge without Elon Musk simply would have been a meme coin. And so he's definitely stealing from their playbook. But how does one create value out of thin air? If you're Elon Musk, the answer is simple. It's manufactured. And so U.S. dollars used to be backed by gold until the U.S. bid for the gold standard in 1971. And now the U.S. dollars are backed by the full faith and credit of the U.S. government. They act as legal tender for all debts, public and private. Why? Because the government said so. And that's called a magic trick. So an example of that magic trick is basically me telling you, I'll give you a piece of paper in exchange for your gold. Then I tell you, gold sucks. I don't need it. And you don't either. I promise this paper's still good, though. You just got to trust me on this. And what does that have to do with Pinocchio, DogeCoin, and Elon Musk? Basically, if an authority says something is money and makes everyone under its power use as such, and they believe it to be money, then apparently it's actually money. So when the U.S. did away with the gold standard in 1971, the annual GDP was roughly 1.17 trillion. Today, Elon Musk has a net worth of 220 billion, which would have been roughly 20% of the U.S. GDP that year. That combined value of Tesla and SpaceX is $860 billion, which is almost 75% of U.S. GDP in 71. So if U.S. dollars can be money because they're backed purely on the full faith and credit of the U.S. government, then why couldn't Doge be money if it were backed by the full faith and credit of Elon Musk? Everything around us is denominated in U.S. dollars. Goods and services are exchanged for U.S. dollars. People buy Tesla stock with U.S. dollars. How does DogeCoin fit in the equation? Because Elon said so. SpaceX's Doge 1 mission is set to launch sometime in 2022, and the official unit of account is not US dollars, but DogeCoin. If you want to purchase a trip to space with SpaceX, it will cost you roughly 737 million Doge. Tesla merchandise is currently available for purchase with Doge, and soon Tesla vehicles will be able to be purchased with Doge. And so people want to buy Teslas. People want to go to space. If Doge is required to purchase both, then that means aspects of Doge value would be derived from consumer demand for those companies' products. The growing demand for those companies to accelerate the demand for Doge is a means of exchange, which would drive the public's acceptance of Doge as actual money. So as it turns out, if you have something enough people want, you actually get to decide what is money or not. And so that it definitely makes the potential for DogeCoin to be an actual currency, I think, much stronger.
Yeah, I think it's the buy-in from people, right? I mean, at one point in time, seashells, it was, something to barter with or to purchase things with, and all that has to happen for that to become money is for everybody to agree it's money. I don't know why gold became money, right? I mean, it's just everybody decided. I mean, why not silver? Why not? So it has to be something where there's a resource, a finite resource. It can't just be all over. Like, couldn't put dirt as money, obviously, because we go dig up money and take it to the bank, right? So it has to be something that I would think would be a little bit difficult to come by. And I think with the crypto thing, I don't know how Doge is, like with Bitcoin, there's only so many, right? So the value of each Bitcoin is going to go up or down, supply and demand sort of thing. So I don't know if Doge is created, whether they put more back in, whether they burn it. I don't know any of that stuff. But I think that in a cryptocurrency market, you can regulate that type of stuff to make it where it's scarce, like gold would have been or something else. And I fully believe that there's no real reason for gold to be backed by anything. I don't really like the full faith and credit of the United States government, quite honestly. When you can run the back room and print off a bunch of money, that doesn't seem like right. Because, oh yeah, let me go get you 2 million. I'll be right. Just wait 1 second. I'm gonna go here and print it, right? So I think that there needs to be something. It needs to be regulated. It needs to be finite. It needs to be where everybody knows what it is, and you can't just go create it on a whim.
Exactly. And what's interesting about Doge is that it has the perception of being hyperinflationary because there's over 132 billion in circulation right now, and they create about 5 billion new DogeCoin every year, which sounds like a lot. But essentially, the amount of new DogeCoin that gets created per year is a fixed amount, and the total supply of DogeCoin is a growing amount. So 5 billion coming into circulation every year becomes a smaller percentage of that greater total. And so it actually has, the inflation is actually only around 3.87%. It'll be around 3.3% by 2029. And those are both actually essentially lower than the inflation of the US dollar. And quite frankly, Doge actually had a better rate of inflation than Ethereum did as of last year, which Ethereum had an annual rate of inflation of a little over 4. Now it's going to drop to around 1% after it merges into ETH2 because of all the Ether actually burning for that. And for instance, Solana, that's 7%. If you look at Cosmos, that ranges anywhere from 7 to 20%. And so the fact that Dogecoin has 3.87% inflation, and that only goes down on a year-by-year basis, it's really not as bad as people would think. It makes it actually more viable.
And as you said, as it grows and grows, that 5 billion or whatever becomes less and less of an impact on the system overall.
Exactly.
When we're talking trillions of things, 5 billion becomes less of an impact. So I think that'll come down. And if anybody could do, I think Elon. I mean, again, this is just everybody getting together and saying, yeah, Doge is I agree that Doge is a form of payment, and I will accept Doge. That's part of the thing about this too, is you have to have people accept it, because if nobody accepts it, it's useless, right? So, but when people get together and they accept, say, okay, I will take Doge as a form of payment. That's what it is. That's when it becomes a currency, when everybody collectively comes together and says that this is a form of barter that we're going to use.
Exactly. Yeah. Elon has a bunch of stuff that people want, and he basically says you can pay for this in cash, or you can go pay for it in Dogecoin. That means Dogecoin is actually money and it's actually valuable. And so and
it starts growing to where you can buy a pizza with Doge, where you can go to the store with Doge. And once those things start happening, that's when you accept it. It's going to take some catalyst like that. And then the average person, it's also going to take apps that just allow you to do that. So as long as Elon has ties into Cash App and Venmo, and the rest of these applications, once that becomes something that you can use and use easily, like I could just pay you for last night's pizza, $20, and I don't have $30 in gas fees to do that. It's a few pennies or something in order to do it. That's when it really starts taking off. And that's when, because something needs to settle, right? I mean, what if you had like pesos? If I had to just use pesos and dollars and the Australian dollar, and if I had all of these choices, there needs to be one like type of currency, right? And not just in the United States. It would be nice if it was global. Again, going back to the whole Bitcoin thing, so that I know how much things cost. I know that this thing in China is 500 Doge. I know I have a mental image of how that is just like distance, where I know how much a mile is. A mile is the same in the United States as it is in Germany. I need to know what that measurement unit of measure is. And once we all agree on that, everything becomes a hell of a lot easier. We can send money back and forth. We don't need the banking system. We cut out the middlemen. Things are cheaper. Inflation can't go through the roof because people can't print money. All the things that are wrong with our financial system today can be cured with digital currencies, as long as everybody gets on board and it's easily transferable.
Absolutely. And what I think a big thing about it is that the fees, it's some of the lowest fees per transaction in the industry today. I believe it was a couple of weeks ago, some whale transfer moved roughly 270 million Doge, worth around $27 million. Do you know how much the total fee for that transaction was? 11 cents.
Yeah.
It's 11 cents.
That's
the
crazy.
average Ethereum transaction has a gas fee of $50. The average. This person moved $27 million, cost them 11 cents. So, I mean, that's where things need to be. They need to kind of improve their transaction time. They could do it. It takes, I think, transaction 1 per minute. And I think in order to get better than a debit card, it'd need to be around 10 seconds, but that's a fixable thing. And so there's actually, even though there's a lot of manufactured utility to it, there is a lot of substance there that could make it potentially a viable currency of the future.
Good. All right, Cameron. Well, we're at 15 minutes. That sounds like a good time period. So, again, thank you for all of your insight and wisdom and all the rest of those things you bring to the table and all the news and things going on in the world. And, how Doge could potentially be something coming up. I mean, you could actually go in and just bet on it. I'm going to bet on Elon Musk, right? Because what has he done that's failed? So, maybe when Doge is at next to nothing, you go in and you put $1,000, $2,000 into it, whatever. You just kind of sit it there to see if it goes. If it goes, awesome. You 100 extra money at some point in time. If it doesn't, you lost $1,000, $2,000. I mean, the gamble on that with Elon at the helm, I think, is a pretty good risk.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much a proxy for Elon. So if you believe in Elon Musk, then I think DogeCoin may be a good thing to look at for you.
All right, brother. Well, we'll be back next week with another episode. Thanks again, and we'll talk to you later. All right.
All right, Sammy.